I won't put you
Turn
up. We
off
can just
camera.
talk.
There we go.
Yeah. No, but
No, I got camera off there.
okay. I'm going to turn you up a little bit. Is everybody, just say a few words. Is everybody hearing him okay?
Hello,
I just
everybody.
turned,
How are you?
you're great now. I just turned you up. So, what's
Nice.
going on? How's your mood today on this Tuesday?
Not too bad. I haven't been on here in a little bit. I been dealing with some personal issues, and
Okay.
a couple Fridays ago, I was having a very bad day, and I woke up about 9:30 at night, about 2 Fridays ago, and I woke up with suffering from a heart attack. So I actually have been. I went to the hospital for a few days, and they did some work on me and put me on meds and a bunch of that. So I'm feeling a lot better now.
So, what was the first symptoms you had when you had the heart attack? And did you
I
know
just
you were having a heart attack? That's the
I
first thing.
woke up. Yeah, I woke up at about 9:30 at night. I'm laying in bed, and big pain shooting across my chest, and
Mm-hmm.
my forearm and my hand felt like felt like somebody been hitting it over and over again. So it's just like really
Okay.
just it felt like I've been in a fight or something. So, but
Wow. And have your
yeah,
stress levels been higher than usual? Like, what do you think the trigger was?
well, I know for a fact for the past few years I've had high blood pressure and high blood sugar. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just been neglecting that for the past couple of
Yeah.
years, like hoping that maybe a change in diet could affect that, could lower it. But
You and
I
I
haven't
have
been
talked
really.
about my diet, right? That like where I've gotten off of greens. If you were to look at a picture of me a year ago,
Hmm.
my face is a lot bigger. I'm more of a buffet boy. I would still say I need to lose I bet 20 pounds. I could still lose 20 pounds. But and I've been dangerously overweight in my
Hmm.
past. So currently I'm at a healthy weight, but I'm not at the I would say the best weight. I could still
Sure.
lose I think I
Yeah,
could still
that's
lose
just
20. But the problem is if you don't do it correctly, you just lose muscle mass. You don't it's not a healthy. You got to do it gradual and if you eat greens, you feel and experience this life different. I don't eat meat anymore. I do eat fish.
yeah,
Um
yeah. I've noticed that change too, like cutting out sugar and salt. If you can remove those, or I should say, for me, it's been
mhm.
bread and sugar and salt.
Really? So
Yeah.
okay, so
If I
what kind of bread do you not eat?
I don't eat
Like
bread. The
you
only
don't
thing
eat
that I have,
whole wheat or any of that stuff?
not currently, no.
Yeah.
Um, just the way that people live their lives day to day right
Mhm.
now. If you don't keep it in check and you're not like consciously, making decisions about what you eat, it's so easy to fall into that where you're just like, oh, you turn around, and you're like, oh man, I put on some pounds, and yeah, my blood
Plus you're
sugar's
not
up, and this is
dating
up.
right now, right? You're not dating at this time. So I think when you
No.
have a partner, I think it's I think you're more mindful of what you eat
Oh,
because
sure.
it's not
Yeah.
just about you. And sometimes they're relying on you, so you want to make sure you're healthy and you can be around.
Oh
And
yeah,
with
just to have
the
somebody objective, be
yeah,
able to look at you and be like, you know what, I think, should you eat that? Should you do that? Yeah,
yeah.
it's too easy to do that if you're like on
But
your
I
own and
if
you just.
now if you have someone who eats garbage, that's probably the worst thing you could have. You'd be better off to be on your own, right?
Not necessarily, because that could motivate you. Like if you
Ah,
see
that's
someone
true.
else in the way that they are, you
Yeah,
could, that's
you're
as
right. That might be a
you.
trigger going, I don't want to be huge. I want to take better care of myself. So it might be a daily reminder of not making bad choices. You know what?
Yeah,
I didn't think of it
you're
that
not
way.
able to put your eyes you're not able to put your eyes
Yeah.
on you is the thing, and if you could look at
Yeah.
somebody else making bad decisions, or if you have somebody else that could look at you making bad decisions,
Right.
as long as there is that, you can't see you from your perspective as much. You don't pay attention to that, so yeah, that could be a big difference. But,
What have you learned
um
since this circumstance? I know it's fresh. It just happened, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
recently, like within the last 2 weeks?
yeah. It was like 2 weeks ago that this happened.
Okay.
Um,
So you have been healing for a week and stuff. So what went through your mind? Like I can just imagine. I probably would be a little bit panic stricken after that.
well, the one
For
thing
me,
was
I'm
that
talking about
my
myself.
yeah, my dad passed away when he was 54, and I'm 49. I'll be 50 next year,
Are you
and that is
really?
always yeah.
I would never guess that for you. I
Oh,
honestly
thank you.
thought you were like 38, 36
I
max.
appreciate that. That's how I feel. That's certainly how I feel. But no, uh, yeah, my dad had a couple heart attacks, and it was like the second or third one that did him in, and
Mhm.
that was back in the 90s, and certainly they didn't have the advances that they have now. Even you could say that, you could say 1990 was yesterday, for crying out loud. And um, uh, the but you don't realize how much time has passed and how much technology's changed, and now it's like an
Yep.
outpatient thing. Like, I literally went in on Friday night, and then the next day, 20 minutes, the procedure was done, and the rest of it was me hanging out for a couple of days, just for them to monitor me, monitor my blood pressure and stuff like that. But they went in my wrist, and they went up through, um, up my arm into my heart,
Mhm.
and they saw two blocks in two of my major arteries, and they put a couple stents in. Like I said, 20-minute procedure, and then the rest of it was getting me on the right meds, and um, monitoring my blood pressure and stuff like that to make sure they can get it down. And um,
Because you're a really open guy, and
sure, absolutely.
I'm asking you questions that I probably wouldn't ask the average person. But when you went through that and you did that, did it remind you of your dad? Did it kind of give you a sense of urgency of, you know what, I really need to change a few things? Did any of
Oh, absolutely.
these inner dialogues go on?
Absolutely. I mean, for the past 20 years, I mean,
Hmm.
I should say, since my dad passed away, it's been on my mind, where it's like, that's his life. What is my life going to look like?
Right.
Can I actually see a life past 55, which is tough to do when you're in your 20s. But then
Yes.
time goes on, and you think about it every once in a while about, heart problems, and them, certain things being genetic and all that. Um, but to all of a sudden, like, you can think about it every day, and then I'm sure you know what I'm saying. You could say it more eloquently than I could, but you could think about that every day, and then one day you're 49, and you're like, "Whoa, where did time go?" And that, like, I had a heart attack, and I can't you can't help but compare it to, or I couldn't help but compare it to what my dad experienced, and you're like, is that gonna be me? Obviously, it's not, because my dad lived a completely different life. Like I said, medicine
In
wasn't the
what
same as it is
way?
now.
Oh
He
yeah, that's the
drank.
other thing.
He
That's
drank,
so
and he
true.
smoked.
You can have horrible habits now, and because of meds, they're keeping people alive longer. I would totally agree with that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
there's so much cutting edge technology. Um, well, think about it. We have so many people now that live to 90, 80. We also have those, like you said, with the bad habits. They're passing away in their 60s. And I'm
yeah.
closer to 60 than I am 16.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
58 now, so
No, no, I feel that.
yeah.
Yep.
So
But, yeah.
you can do a lot of positive things, sir, in the next 10 years
Oh, sure.
to transform your life. Like it can be done. And the longer you wait, the harder it is because your metabolism when you get older is not great. It
Right.
slows down. Even if you work out and you eat right, you have to work 9 times harder than you ever did as a teen.
Yep. And that's the thing
Thank you
too,
for
is
the
that
hearts.
there are some people that do eat right and exercise all the time, and just because of genetics, they still have problems. They have
Mm,
complications at an early age, because it's just what's in the genes. So it's
yeah.
crazy. But Um, yeah, there's already been a difference because I think like a month ago I would have picked myself at like 380, 375 ish, and
Yes.
I just weighed myself like a couple days ago, and I was at
Yeah.
380, 375 about a month ago, and I just weighed
Right.
myself and I weighed 341. So I'm
What
already
would be
dropping
an
down.
ideal weight for you? Like 240?
I just want to break 300. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm a big guy.
So so
I'm
what
six
so
foot
when
three.
it so when is the last time that you were in the 200s? Do you know what I'm saying?
High school for sure.
High school. Yeah. It's funny. I saw a picture of myself yesterday, and it was hilarious because to me, I was like, I looked like a female version of myself. I was so tiny. I
Uh,
was like, I was 16. I was like, well, that business has expanded.
yeah, yeah. No, probably like 30 years ago, I was around the
Yeah.
270, 275, 260, somewhere around there. But um,
Well, this photo I
yeah.
saw of myself, it made me laugh. I bet I weighed 160, and right now I bet I weigh 220, and I've
Mhm.
been as high as 270, and
Hmm,
270 is not good on me.
hmm.
270 on anybody is not good. Now I'm only 5'10". If you're 6'3", you could probably handle 260 on your frame really well. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You
I'd
got a
hope
little
so.
more
Yeah.
real estate, but the weight that you carry is so hard on your heart, no
Hmm.
matter what. Yeah, yeah. I would love to be 200, 190, somewhere in that range. That would be ideal. Yeah,
That's like my leg.
that I've said stuff like that. Yeah, that's my leg right there. That's
Yeah.
my 10 pounds. That's my three toes. And
Yeah.
no, yeah, I get you. I get you. But you'd be amazed if you change just a few things and stay with
Hmm.
like it's even just the way I process the processing power now being on greens. It's almost like I have a whole new level of clarity that I didn't have before.
Sure.
And some people believe, and that this is out there, that when you eat meat, you're actually eating the fear of that animal. And that the animal, when in the 50s, their lives, they had more, they used to roam around, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
weren't, injected with steroids to the point where they're growing faster than their legs are developing and legs are breaking. And it's cruel stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting way to look at it. Eating the fear.
You're eating
I'm
if you believe in energy, like I do, in frequency and vibration, because
sure.
what we give out and what we consume becomes us, right?
Sure. No,
Um,
that absolutely makes sense. And then what you surround yourself with, yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with that. Um,
on
I, uh, I don't. I'm not a big fan of meat, anyways.
Okay,
Um,
you like
if I could,
pizza though, right? That's your thing, and chips, and like what are your sin foods? The things
well,
you
here's the
love?
thing.
Yeah,
Of course, one likes pizza and chips and all that
of
because, of
course. I
course.
like that. I love how you say, of course.
But also
Yeah.
in the case where I'm working for a company where I can get free pizza,
Yes.
free. I love free as well.
Yeah. Free is
On
good.
top of that, I'm an emotional eater. So,
Yes.
anytime you're
You're an
off of
emotional
off.
guy. Is that fair?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're an
So
emotional guy. You wear your heart on your sleeve. That's one of the things I love about your broadcast is that there's very little filter. You're not vulgar. You're not rude. You're just you share your space with the people you feel safe with, and
absolutely.
yeah. And I noticed that the people you do have in your broadcast are they're almost fiercely loyal to you, like it's almost a friendship.
Oh,
And
absolutely. I absolutely feel the same way about them too. Yeah, it is absolutely a
today's
friendship.
about honoring individuals that are on the Twitter stream and the Hap stream. So if you have a few people that you would just like to do a couple shout outs or some people that have helped you in the last year.
Oh, sure. I mean, I could list off about 20 names easy of people that have a significant place in my life right now, like
Hmm.
Jennifer, Tate, Liz, Jenna. uh, you know, a gentleman that he's known online as Bilbo, um, you know, Newfie, uh, Stewart, Haruko, uh, Kathy, Melissa Mopar. I mean, there's tons of people that come on, and
Yeah.
I could go down the list of people that genuinely care about me, and that I know that they actually like care to see to get to check in with me,
Right.
and that you form this relationship with. Uh, and I could waste a lot of time on your show. Or I could spend a lot of time, going over the people,
It's not
but it's
wasting.
like,
Like when you're celebrating
no, I
people who
rephrased it.
have when
I
they
think I
add
caught
value
myself on
to your
that.
life. Yeah. Yeah. No,
um,
I think we need to do more of that.
sure,
Celebrate the collaboration because that's what this is for, right? It's
yeah,
not necessarily for people to come on and go, "Hey, the wonder of me." I think it's more of, "Yay, the wonder of the community." Can I read
yeah.
something to you and just tell me if this is true or not true for you? This is a person that I'm doing a shadow for. His name is Bruce Van Horn, and he wrote this, and I find it interesting, and I would love for you to chew on it for a second. When you finally get what you want, you discovered it was a feeling, not a person or a thing, and it was always available to you. Do you want me to read that again, or is that enough?
Absolutely, read it again.
When you finally get what you want, you'll discover it was a feeling, not a person or a thing. It was always available to you.
I couldn't agree with that more. Sure. I mean, the it's a connection. You think it's a connection to a person, but it's more of a connection to a feeling, or connection to a part of you,
Right.
really, that we're all chasing after.
Mm.
Experiences, and like a lot of. So I always keep my eyes open, and I'm always thinking, and I'm always feeling, and like that's just me and how I've always been. I've suffered a lot in my life, but I've also benefited from uh
The lessons.
yeah, exactly, from being that sort of a person where um
Hmm.
it's tough when you see the way that the world is and the way that everyone acts, and you think that people are taking a lot of advantage of the situation, and they're getting away with a lot more stuff than you are, because or let me just speak for myself. It seems like a lot of people are taking advantage of situations that I just can't feel I can, and that it just seems unfair sometimes. And I know, and I get the feeling that a lot of people feel that same way, where it's like, uh, you're trying to play by the rules that you've been given for the game, the game of
Yeah.
life, sort of thing. And while you're doing that, other people are taking advantage, and it just seems unfair. But um like how I've lived my life, I definitely can't complain too much, because I've been afforded a lot of great experiences, a lot of great knowledge to come from that. And um one of the things is that it was boiled down to where I am in my life, living the way that I do right now, being in a van, living unconventionally, and getting rid of a lot of stuff in my head, and physically, getting rid of a lot of
Yes.
stuff.
So for
It'll
those who don't know your story,
Sure. Yeah.
you've admitted a few things that you live in a van. What has been the duration of you living in the van, and what is one of the things that you've learned that you didn't know before? Because I don't think
Mhm.
anybody could fully understand that without trying it.
Yeah, it's certainly not an easy thing to do, and certainly, been being on both ends of it, the
Hmm.
beginning of my journey and where I am now. I couldn't see myself at the beginning of my journey being where I am and being the person that I am now. I couldn't imagine it. So it definitely has changed me, and
Yeah.
it has opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. About 5 years back, about I had a house and two cars, and I had a beautiful girlfriend. It was like the best thing ever, best person ever in my life. And
Yes.
I had my problems and stuff like that, but I had a computer, and I was going to get on Twitch, and I was going to do all this content creation and stuff like that. And I had, I had
Just
these
running out
ideas,
of
these
gas.
dreams.
Yeah.
Well, I had all these ideas and these dreams and everything. My girlfriend came down with, or had stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, terminal,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
within a year of it being diagnosed, she passed away. And I found my and there's a little stage there of a few months where she was helping me figure out what my future is going to be and what
So
where I'm
she
going to
really
live.
loved you.
Absolutely.
She was trying to set a pathway for you to take when she was gone, and she probably knew how much value she brought to your life. So for
I
you
hope
to
she did.
have that, yeah. So how blessed are you that you had that time, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
some people in their life don't have a month of that kind of connection. Like you
yeah,
had a deep, rich connection. It was, and I think sometimes in life the best experiences are not necessarily lifelong,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
she came up. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say she and I had been together for 13 years,
Hmm.
and then suddenly here it is coming to an end, and we know it's coming to an end, and we're trying to figure out um, how to how to get me set up, how to prepare me for a life, my next stage of life. Um, and I in my already depression, anxiety, and all that stuff already going through my head from for the past, oh, the since I was in high school, I've been having depression, anxiety, all that stuff. Dealing with all this stuff I'm
Really?
dealing with. Oh yeah.
Okay. So help me with that. Being a person who's never suffered from that, I just haven't. So when did it start? Would you say like 14, 15, 16 years old? When did you know that something wasn't right?
Um, Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I always knew that I was had a different perspective.
Hmm.
I never really had that feeling of fitting in because there were things that didn't make sense to me religiously, um, and my parents going through divorce when I was an early teen.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
that's the
like,
trigger right there. That's the trigger right there.
well, there's so many things, really. I mean,
No, but
being
that if you were to really look at that though, that most people would say that was one of the launching pads
sure,
of
definitely
what
a
started it
moment, definitely, yeah,
because that's your foundation, right? That what's is what makes you feel secure, especially when you're young. Even if it isn't healthy, it's what you know. So,
yeah.
did you blame yourself at all?
Your perception of what life is,
Yeah.
and
You
then your
flicked your
perception
camera back
changes.
on. You may want to just
Uh,
take, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
yeah, I got it. Yeah, you have this idea of what life is, and everyone
Uh-huh.
tells you what life is, but that's not the case. It's just
No.
messed up people are raised by messed up people.
Tony,
There's nobody's
how are
fault.
you?
That's just the way it is.
Yeah, Tony D's in the
But
house.
hey, Tony D. Um,
Yes.
so many things factor into what brought on the depression and anxiety and stuff like that for me. That was definitely one of the things. Um, but
But
going
high
through
school.
that,
High school,
sure,
the divorce, becoming a man, right? And you really
yeah,
start to
and
develop as a man in high school. You
it's a
start to
complicated answer because you're especially when you're somebody that grew up. I was born in '72, and you grow up and it's just a generational thing where they tell you how life is and what life is. And
hmm
then you take that and say, okay, my mom and my dad told me that this is, or not just them, but everyone says this is what life is supposed to be, but it's not
right.
that. You're just given poor programming at the foundation of it. And when you grow into your teens and you get those complex
Yeah.
feelings that you're starting to get your own perspective, stuff doesn't match up. You start to error out because the data doesn't add up, and
Yes.
so it can
But
really
it's
mess
really
you
a
up.
story, though. But it's really a story. And you don't get that until you're older. And you don't understand it until you're older, too, that everything is a feeling and feelings pass. And that's just something I got in the last 10 years is, you know, think about all the things that were important to you 10 years ago, right? They're probably not
Mhm.
important to you now, most of them.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of things that were freaking you out and stressing you out, you probably can laugh about now and go, "Oh my god, I was such an idiot. Why was I even worried about that? And was that person even worth me being worried about?" You know what I do now, and this may help anybody who's in the chat. I always say to myself, "Do I want to be that person? Do I want to live in that bubble that they're in and everything that encompasses them being them?" And 9 out of 10 times I'll say, "Hell no. I do not want that life." So they're not
Mm.
representing even what I would want. So why would I even worry?
There's a point in time where like, I worry and I'm working through stuff at 49 that I've worried and
Hmm.
worked through and at 15, and there just comes a point in your life where and, this is a blessing that I have in my life. I'm so glad that I don't know where it comes from, but I know
Yeah.
that it exists in me, that at some point you just gotta dump it.
Hmm.
You just have to dump it. You have
Are,
to let
uh,
go of it.
do you have the ability to read the comments from where you are? Do you want me to read it to you?
I don't currently, know.
Okay,
But please,
I'm
yeah,
going to
please
read.
read the
So,
comments.
JB just wrote something. It says, "I would like to say it's a perspective. If a specific person comes into your life, then the feeling is generated due to that person. It's not the chicken or the egg situation. Be grateful towards the person who generates the feeling within you." Well, I agree. I think if
What
anybody, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think that I was raised, in school and stuff, you're taught certain things like garbage in, garbage out, things like that, like in computer class. Computer class helped me being a nerd and learning about computers and stuff helped me relate
Hmm.
to being a human being because a lot of the things are true, like, it's not necessarily like as I said, it's a matter of perspective. Perspective is everything. You're receiving data, and that's the only way that you could really get through life is by going through that data and trying to analyze it, trying to interpret it, incorporate it into your life. Sometimes you got to get rid of that stuff. It's and anything that comes into your life, if your mind is open, if your heart is
Yeah.
open, if you're living your life and you're experiencing these things, they influence who you are as a person and how you treat other people. How you live your life based it's all uh, garbage in garbage out is one of those things that I don't think they even
Yeah.
teach kids these days, but that's so important. Whatever
Helen
you
is with us
receive
right
is
now. Helen is with us right now, and I'm
Mhm.
going to read what she wrote, and it's important to her. It says, "You interrupted him telling his story to hone in on the depression aspect, but he was already talking about the situation with his girlfriend before she died." Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, we, Helen, him and I have talked about this situation quite a bit, and his viewers know about it. And you have kind of like a time frame where you can talk about these situations, and there's so many different things that come up that bubble up. And him and I, I think you would agree, we have these conversations where we have little pockets of ideas and we run with it. Is that a fair?
y-
But it,
you riff. That's all it is. It's all jazz.
yeah,
You riff and you go where the conversation goes. I know,
it's
I
a
totally get it.
dance. It's a dance,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Or hot
I I
potato.
always Yeah, I always attribute it to making music. I'm like, you got the you're playing, it's all jazz. You're just riffing off each other, and all of that's important. That's
Yeah,
probably the best part about a
yeah,
conversation like that is that whatever comes out is good stuff.
yeah.
This is all good stuff.
I think we
Everybody
both can
everybody
say
can learn
though
from
we
this.
celebrate this relationship that we've developed because we feel safe in this space. And him and I have done this before. I've done this on his channel. It may have not felt as safe at the beginning, the first couple times we did it, but I think we've done this. Would you call it riffing? We've done this
Yeah,
riffing or interpretive dance, if you want to call it that, or
yeah,
improv about
yeah.
5 times. And he's been on the show a few times, and I've been on his show. But you basically talk about I would call the under the mat stuff. Do you know what I mean? The stuff that people hide. You
Oh yeah.
you go you share. You're not afraid to share your dirty laundry.
Well, that's gonna that like I said, perception is everything, and the information that you receive, the
Yeah.
whatever the things that you see influence who you are as a person. And if someone can talk about the things, and that's something that these days that you couldn't have done in the '70s or done in the '80s, where you're just
Yeah.
talking about your emotions, you're talking about
Right.
how things affect you. Like that's just not something that was done.
Right.
And we're living in a time right now where there's a certain language, there's a certain vocabulary that people have
Right.
where they can talk about things that really affect them at their core. And that's
Mhm.
something that I'm always searching for, that I'm always trying to, maintain, is that, the getting to the good stuff, getting, dumping all the irrelevant stuff, dumping all the stuff in the past, and just getting to the good stuff and the stuff that's going to help you.
Yeah.
That's the whole one of the main reasons why I wanted to jump on the internet, why I wanted to create content, is just like, here's my experience, here's my life.
Mhm.
I don't have kids, and I can't carry on my legacy there. But if I can
Right.
speak to someone that's receptive and that can actually hear the things that I've done, and I don't know what's going to be
Yeah.
useful to other people, but if there's something that could resonate with somebody, there's something that somebody could
Yeah.
have that could take to heart and be like, I think I could use that to make my life better. That's all I could ask for.
Helen brought up another really good point, and I just have you with the black screen because it shows your name. So if you're okay with sharing your name, like, do you share your name on your broadcast? I don't even know if you do that.
Absolutely. That's kind of
Okay.
that's a joke right there. It's M and the at symbol, M at
Mm-hmm.
Matt. Like that's just how I spell my name.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but Matt Robarge. I
Right.
have no problem sharing who I am. No,
Helen is an excellent person to follow. So is JB. Uh, and JB's a really deep thinker. And I would say with Helen, she's a person who really feels and has compassion for people. And I think she likes to fight for the underdog, which is good. I like people like that. And she's a good moral compass for me in the broadcast. I always kind of feel like she's a good co-pilot. So when I see what she writes, or Tony for that matter too, you're just going to show oh, there he is. Okay. He's
there I
presented
am. Hi.
himself.
I was in a unflattering position where I was laying
Were
down
you?
on my
Okay.
back,
Well, we can't have that. We can't have that.
but I
I
was
have
comfortable.
you I have you on the little camera right now, so we're seeing just mostly your head. Um, but I'm really glad you came up. I think we followed some really cool stuff, and anybody that's in the chat, if someone's watching the replay later, please, if you can, and you know of somebody who is suffering, but having a heart attack, that's incredibly scary. Like
It is.
that is
Um, it's not something not something that anybody really wants to achieve in life. Nobody wants to get to that point
no,
where their
no, they
heart is
don't.
telling them, something's wrong.
Well, and that's your body failing, really, if you think about it. That's your body cooking.
Th-
Like
yeah,
there's
that's
something, but from what you said, hereditary, right? Partly, not
yeah,
everything, partly. Yeah.
yep. And that's just something that I have not focused on, and that
Hmm.
uh, now it's something I have to focus on. One of the interesting things on my screen, I wasn't getting a chat, but I get, if I scroll down, I can
Yes.
see everybody's comments. If I'm
Right.
at the current place, is that a common thing with the Haps now?
They are right now still. Well, I shouldn't say right now. They have since the beginning have had a really tough time with the mobile app, and the mobile apps I think are the future. The computer is fantastic, but it's limiting. I love that you're in your van,
Yeah,
living your life, sharing this moment, and you're good at it. Like it develops, I think, a form of confidence to do what you're doing. Like that is like developing a muscle. So well done, well done. And
thank
I've
you.
said this to you
It's nice to
before.
hear that once in a while.
It is, and
Yeah,
we
and it's
need to.
never
Go ahead.
it never ceases to like give me a it's affirmation. I appreciate it. You can't go wrong with a little affirmation once in a while.
But what you're doing is incredibly brave. Like the average person couldn't do that. They would not bare their soul like that. So, and I think when you do that, you're opening the doors for other people to share. But we live in a world where
I,
people critique everything you do and say. So you have to have a form of resistance or Teflon to deal with it. And if you're ultra sensitive, you can take one comment and play it 1,000 times and be hurt by it repeatedly.
I don't. I okay. Well, this is the interesting thing is that
Hmm.
I don't see bravery with what I do. It's just
Hi, Jeff.
necessity. Like like
Explain the necessity part. That's really interesting to me. Go ahead.
well like I said, I just feel like I'm 49 years old.
Hmm.
Nobody in my life right now, other than friends, of course, but family and
Yeah.
all, but no one. Like, I'm not going to have any kids, and um, I may never find a partner again. I don't know, but I have a perspective. I have these experiences that have my life. I have information that may be useful to somebody, maybe just having it just the it's the reason that we connect with other people. It's the
Hmm.
reason that we get on the internet. It's because we just want to see
But
another
Matt, even if
perspective.
it's one person, even if it's even if this 40 minutes or what it's been so far, 44 minutes of dialogue has helped one person, that's enough. And the great thing
Yeah,
with this format is because when they save them, let's say someone needs to pick me up and they're inspired by your bravery, which I'm calling bravery. That's my interpretation, my feeling of it. And it helps them to be more open, then we've succeeded. Or
yeah,
if it makes someone think, you know what, I could have a heart attack. I'm
yeah.
overweight. I need to take better care of myself. Imagine maybe you've just saved someone from a really painful situation like that. That must have been terrifying. Before we go, can you just kind of tell me the gamut of emotions you went through during and I
Well,
would say maybe the next 3 days after?
um, I felt surprisingly at ease. Like whatever's going to happen is going to happen, sort of a thing. And
Mm,
like the best place to be if you are suffering from something medically is in a building. It
mm-hmm,
was the UT Medical Center, University of Tennessee Medical Center. If you're in a building surrounded by people who are there for a reason, and
mm-hmm.
that's to learn and to help other people uh, with whatever problems they have physically. I
Right.
mean that like I felt like I'm in a hospital bed. I'm surrounded by professionals. They want to make sure that I'm okay,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's their job. That's where they are in life, and especially with University of Tennessee Medical Center, they're learning. Like they're there to learn, and they're there to like take in as much of this as they can,
The
and put it
level of
in.
care, were you happy with it? Like was the experience
Oh
like
yeah,
let's say you were to give it a
high steam.
grade out of 10, what would you give it from 1 to 10?
Um,
The level of
I
care
would
you
say an
got.
8. I
Oh,
would
that's
say an 8
amazing.
because it's never going to be
That's
perfect,
amazing.
the human factor and all that. But
Mhm.
no, I felt at ease. But it was like, okay, they're looking at me. They'll if something goes wrong, there's somebody there that can help me. And I don't I don't usually have that perspective or that opinion when it comes to hospitals and such. I hated hospitals and churches. I'm not a fan of. I get totally uncomfortable. My anxiety ramps up. But
Mhm.
no, that was fine.
So, did you call an ambulance? Like, how did they get to you? What happened? Did someone find
All
you?
all I know is what I've been told, and that's if you have a heart attack, call
Uh-huh.
911. That's what I did, and
So what
I
did you
called
say?
911.
What did you say to them? Do you remember?
I just told him, I said, "Yeah, I'm suffering." I gave him my information. I said, "I'm suffering
Mhm.
from." I woke up with from a heart attack. I'm in a lot of pain. And I tried to describe the pain that I was in,
Hmm.
and uh, they said that somebody will be there in a little while. And then when I hung up, I called up my friend Ben, whose property that I'm parked at, and
Yeah.
told him, I'm like, so just everything's cool. Just this is what happened, and there are people that are going to show up, so I don't want to freak anybody out.
Oh,
And
see,
then yeah,
you're worried about someone else, and this is a life and death situation. That just goes to show you. Don't want to get inconvenient you, but I'm having a
that's
heart
just the
attack.
type of person I am.
I'm
I don't
just
want to be
having
a
a heart
bother.
attack right now. I don't want you to be frightened by the ambulance. Yeah, that's funny, and it
Yeah,
just goes to show you, you put your feelings second. Even it says sweet. Yeah, Stevie Wonder says that's sweet. I agree,
yeah,
absolutely.
that's
Well,
just who I am.
I think we should end it there. Is that okay? Does that feel good? I feel like we. Is there anything we didn't cover you'd like to cover?
Just I just wanted to finish my thought process on the whole deal after Pam passed away. The one thing that I want people to know is if you ever have some people may never have this moment in their life, but
Mm-hmm.
I did, and if I could share this with other people, that'd be fantastic. There came to a point in my life where you just really look at everything, you take stock of everything, and you realize that you need to, like, in a moment like that, you need to realize what life is and how to live life. And if you have an opportunity to change something in your life, like these days with everybody quitting their jobs and really working on, like, everyone's experienced working at home, everybody's experienced, a different work situation and different living situation where they actually say, this is how I want to live my life. I'm not happy with my job, and so I'm going to do something about it. I've lived in fear a lot in my life, and wanted to change something to make something better in my life. And this was a moment where I had a chance to say, I'm going to get rid of all my stuff. I'm going to live in a van. All I need is a place for 5 hours, a safe place, a dry place where I can sleep. And then the rest of my life is for living outside. I never say that I'm living in my van. I say I live out of my van, kind of a thing. And that whatever change you want to make, either whether it be a job or whether it be a relationship or whether it be, something that you're just unsatisfied with, um, that it's important. Like I said, I don't necessarily know the bravery part of it, but I just know that it's a necessity. It's like if something needs to change and you're not happy with it, change it. Um, certain things in my life, like getting on stage and getting in front of people and singing and making certain changes in your life, making certain decisions in your life, choices in your life, uh do it. That's about the only thing that I can pull for, if nothing else, to pull to put in anybody else's life, into anybody else's mind. That's the seed I want to plant, is, if you feel that way, do it. I think you're muted.
Thanks, buddy. Um, so the comments, there was a beautiful comment that was brought up here about you, and I put it on the screen. And there's basically saying, I'm currently watching from the UK. We stumbled upon Matt on Twitch, and me and my partner spent most of the day watching his stream. So basically, they're basically saying that your experience and the way that you present yourself inspires them daily. So keep doing what
Well,
you're doing,
I
buddy.
appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
that that's I, I love getting receiving feedback from people like that. Like, if I have accomplished what I want to accomplish for
Yeah.
anybody, that's the best gift you can give me. I appreciate that
Well,
so much.
here's the best chunk of it. His insight really puts life into perspective, and I am glad to have stumbled upon him. So what you're doing, even though you feel that it may not make that much of a difference, it really is. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we good? So we you know how I
Thanks
always
for
end the
having me on.
yeah, do you know how we always end the broadcast? People always make fun of me for this. What are you currently grateful for? Oh, look at this.
I'm
I
grateful
had
for
the
the
pleasure
connection.
of finally meeting Matt after 5 years of watching him after stumbling across his Periscope. And can you see that? It's Aaron. Aaron Mack, I
Yep,
think. Yeah.
Aaron and I had a hot dog and some curly fries together, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in the state of Pennsylvania.
Well said. So what are you currently grateful for, my friend?
I'm grateful for the connection,
Yes.
any connection.
Yes. Uh,
I'm grateful for that.
well, I am currently in awe of what unfolds on Happs all the time. And you never know what you're walking into. You know, I always look at it as like, oh, I'm going to go down that dark alley. What's in there? Oh, wait, there is light at the end of the tunnel here. And today's broadcast was, oh, there is a lot of light at the end of the tunnel here. So thank you for sharing your unique perspective during a incredibly stressful time. And I find it really puzzling and inspiring in the same sentence that you found peace in such a horrible time. Like you said, I think you said I felt a sense of peace. So if we could just
Yeah,
address that and then say goodbye and wave, but I'm kind of in awe of how you could be, because most people would be doing the poor me during that.
yeah. You and I are connected because I hear what you say when you say you're all about vibrations and
Hmm.
frequencies. I get that. I feel that same way because my what I want, if that, like if you had three wishes, whatever, or if you had one wish or whatever,
Hmm.
that my perspective has changed to precisely exactly the point that I want to get to. I used to say I want peace, and I don't want. It's not peace. It's harmony. That's the my answer to that question has changed. I want harmony in my life, where
Yeah.
no matter what frequencies are, no matter what the vibrations, no matter how the frequencies are going, I want to be harmonious. I want to go with that.
Hmm.
Um, so like I hear you with what you're saying about the importance of frequencies and all that and vibrations. So we are harmonious. That's the reason why we can have these conversations, and I'm grateful for that too.
I think you and I are very similar in many ways. I think even some of our bad habits are similar. And I think you and I are just doing our best, trying to be the very best version of ourselves that we can. And,
Sure.
we're human, we
And we
make
don't have to
mistakes.
and we don't have to be the same, but we have harmonious frequencies. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? We can be two different people, and then we can still be in
fluidity.
harmony. And that's
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
we're vibing.
So thank you.
Thank you
We're
for this.
vibing. That's exactly it.
Yeah, we're definitely vibing. So thank you
Have
for
a
the
great
good
evening,
vibes
everybody.
today. Yes, and if you can, share this broadcast with someone you know who may be suffering. And if you can, please follow Matt. And you can, as you can see here through the testimonies, it sounds like an enriching and productive and somewhat inspiring relationship. Now, he's not on fire every day. None of us are, but um, this was one of the more memorable broadcasts I've done in a long time. Thank you, Matt. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.